Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Aware Millennial. I am your host, J.Mix. Today we are going to be talking about virginity and millennials and millennial virgins. Whatever that means to you, we are going to be talking about it. I have a lovely guest that has stood the test of, I guess, submissions of wanting to talk about this and, be a part of this conversation. And I will also note that there are other virgins that have contributed to this conversation, but they wanted to remain anonymous. So I just wanted to say thank you, Ayla, for being able to show your face or your voice and everything, and we can talk about it. Because honestly, this is the main reason why I want to talk about it, just because it's still something that I feel people may find shameful, which it shouldn't be. But it's I can understand it. I can understand that it may be for plenty of people that are millennials, which, if you aren't aware of the millennial age range, it's 25 to 40 right now. And I guess those are the age ranges that should, I guess we should all have been laid by now, which isn't true at all. So yeah, I'm happy we're having this conversation because this definitely needs to be a little bit more normalized. And there's folks out there that need this reassurance, that need the reassurance, that need to know that they are not alone. And I'm really just going to be coming at this conversation from more of a curiousness standpoint, because I'm not a virgin, unfortunately. Sorry, Mom. But I always like to just get back into that mindset, But this is not about me. This is going to be mostly about me talking with Ayla. And also, so what I did was I threw out some questions to my other virgin millennial friends who wanted to respond. And so I'm also going to read off some of their answers and try to compare them a little bit to Ayla's. This will be fun. Looking forward to this. Let's go. But first, Ayla, if you would like to kind of give a brief background on maybe your hobbies or something that, you like to do.
Oh my gosh, why?
You don't have to.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm Ayla. I totally have normal person hobbies and do things. I grew up in New Orleans. I studied theater in college. And I think you did too, right?
Well, yeah, I did. But also I should mention this. I met Ayla through doing theater. It was actually my first show that I had.
That was your first show?
It was my first semi-professional show. I've done school plays, but nothing like that. That was top notch compared to what I've been doing. We did a show called Dream on Royal Street, which was
and we met Alan Menken, which was cool.
Menken, yeah. That it was funny because when we found out that he was coming, I had no idea who he actually was. It wasn't a big deal to me. And then after the one performance where he was there and he did his little medley of music or of songs, I was like, oh wow. I didn't realize it was the same person, or I didn't realize that impact until then. And that was after we had all had our big old digital cameras, taking random selfies with him. And he was just completely going with it.
Yeah, I have a bunch of pictures with him now. And I'd wanted to be a composer, and so I asked him, I was like, I want to write musicals. And I asked him for advice, and he was like, don't be afraid to rewrite. And I was like, okay. But then it's when do you stop, right? So yeah, it was cool.
I don't remember much. I just remember some pivotal moments, but overall, I remember being extremely excited. I remember that show in particular, it really got me into realizing that I wanted to do musical theater. Like, at least at that time, like I found a lot of fulfillment out of it. So yeah. Well, that's how I know Ayla, y'all. So we haven't seen each other in a while. This is like great that we're able to have this conversation and just kind of reconnect in that way, even though it's in a different way, but it's still something.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see people. It's easy to just like, get really disconnected from like the people in your life, that have like been parts of your life at different times, and you just like don't see them forever, and then you can just kind of like start up again, like no time has gone by really, but which is cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
kind of get into a quick discussion. I'm going to ask if this resonates with Ayla in any way, but this was something I found on bold.com. It's things virgins are tired of hearing. And I'm just going to read them all out. And then anything that resonates with you, we'll discuss it. So the first thing that apparently virgins are tired of hearing, one is, what are you waiting for? Like, why aren't you what's going on? Da da da. The second one is, you'll find someone. You'll find someone. Don't worry about it. Like you'll find someone. Third, oh, that's so cute. That's really cute. That's really cute. That you're still a virgin. Okay, and that's the fourth one is, good for you. Wow, like you're a virgin. Good for you. Fifth one, you should try losing it tonight. That doesn't make sense. Bold.com. Bold.com. I don't know why they put that in there because I feel like no one says that. You should try to lose it tonight. No, like what's the rush? But we'll talk about it. The next one is are you really religious? So asking about religion, like, oh, you're a virgin because you're trying to, you're religious or something like that. Next one is, sorry, I forgot you probably don't get it. So like, let's say there's a conversation that I guess it's about something sexual or whatever, and there's a virgin in the room. It's like, oh, almost like just kind of like calling them out and be like, you probably don't get it. So like, but yeah. So that's one of them. The next one, there's like three more, y'all. Third to last one. You're lucky. I wish I had waited. That doesn't make sense to me. We'll talk about. Let me just keep reading this off because I want to like comment on every single one. Let me do the second to last one. Second to last one. Don't you want to know what you're doing before wedding night? And then the last one is, you must be approved.
Oh, yeah, I am. Yeah.
I think you can admit to it, I guess. If you
no, I don't know.
Yeah. So which ones of these kind of like resonate with you or like kind of stand out to you?
Well, a lot of them are like sort of falsely positive in this way, it's like, oh, good for you, or like condescending, it's like, I wish I'd waited, good for you, like it's like this like achievement or something, when it's not really like an achievement. It's just like a way of being. It's not like good, it's not bad, it's not really anything. So like I don't really understand like right. That it's like people are projecting their like, not that they're like feeling shame, but it's like that they should be more like you or something, when like virgins are sort of like disregarded in a lot of ways, like especially kind of in a very like hypersexualized world. So it's like, oh, like good for you, but also we're not really gonna like cater to you or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like hear a lot of those things because like most people don't know that about me. Like I don't like introduce myself like, hi, like I'm a virgin. So it's not like I'm hearing these things all the time. Because it's just like not something that comes up a lot.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I should also mention, I mean, what is a virgin anyway? Because like everyone, like so many things are subjective these days. And like virginity in particular, like, I don't know. We'll talk about it a little later, but I just wanted to name that. We'll talk about it later though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have heard like, oh, you just haven't found the right person yet or anything.
Right. Well, I mean, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but like, I mean, in the end, it's like you'll know when you're ready. But I think in your instance, I mean, you said that you're asexual, right? Or you're on the
Yeah, I mean, that's how like I identify. Like, I have very little interest in actually having sex. Um, so it's like, you know, if you tell like a gay person that they just haven't found the right person of the opposite sex, like it would kind of be like saying that to like someone who's because it's a sexuality just like being gay or bi or whatever.
Yeah,
um
yeah, definitely.
so but it's just kind of one that's like not really talked about and kind of like invalidated a lot.
Yeah. And I'm also mentioning because before we started rolling, y'all, like Ayla, that's the main reason why like Ayla was able to just easily come on here and be like, "Hey, y'all, I'm Ayla," because being asexual, like you don't necessarily care as much about like,
Right, like for some people it's like a shameful thing, you know, like, oh, I should have done it by now, or like I'm not attractive, or um you know, I'm too nervous or awkward, or like nobody wants me. But for me it's not really, because I'm like, I'm totally hot. I could totally get
you
like
are, you are,
have sex if I wanted.
yeah, you got it, you really do.
Right?
So
Yeah.
you do. I'm just saying, people are gonna see soon. They're gonna see and they're gonna be like, "What? I can't believe it." So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like we kind of answered a little bit of that. Like, yeah, a lot of those have to do with like shame, kind of, sort of. And overall, again, this was from bold.com, which isn't even really a source I normally check out, but it was something that had a lot of options. So I wanted to use that versus like some other ones. So let's kind of get into the topic that we were starting to discuss, like what is virginity anyway? Like what is virginity to us millennials, maybe even to actually no. What is the millennials version of virginity? I really feel like it's all over the place.
I mean, is there a different like version of virginity for millennials than like other generations?
I think in terms of how we view it, it's definitely probably different than someone, let's say, a few decades older. I'm not thinking like millennials
Maybe.
underneath, but yeah, really it's so subjective to the person. I mean, we see virginity as only heterosexual, has to be penis vagina. No, it does not have to be that, but like
Right.
it's what we default to, or at least I default to when I think about it still, even though I know that's not true. Um, but like let's talk about like let's say like someone that's lesbian and they have never had dick, but they
Right. And they're not a virgin, you know, because
right, they
they
don't
have
really consider
sex.
themselves a virgin. Yeah.
But like, yeah, it doesn't always have to involve a dick. Definitely.
So it's
Um,
like, yeah, so and even like, well, very interesting fact. Like, okay, not fact, sorry, but interesting enough. Like, if it's we usually like if lesbians don't have sex with like with men, then lesbians are going to be considered more virgin-y than like let's say men or gay men that have sex with only gay men. Make sense? Kind of like
right.
they wouldn't consider a gay man a virgin if he had sex with another gay man. Not nearly as much. And that's when I think that virginity has a lot to do with the dick.
Right. But that's like saying it doesn't count if you're like, if it's just like vagina and vagina, you know, like,
Yeah, like there's no penetration
but
of any sort.
yeah, like that's one thing, like like usually virginity is like defined as like, you know, there being some sort of penetration involved, and like,
Exactly.
does there have to be
Right.
penetration? Like,
Yeah. So in that regard, like so are we saying virginity is something more, or the losing of virginity is more than just someone entering you? It's more along the lines of, I think for me, virginity right now in my life has everything to do with like how someone can like make me feel sexually, that doesn't necessarily always involve like a dick. Like if someone can make me come without even like inserting themselves, I'm going to consider I said I had like I'm going to be like I had sex with this person even if they never entered me in that way. Like that's my definition nowadays.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know, maybe other people have the same. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't really know what my definition is.
And that's okay.
You know, I don't like think about it. Like, I don't think it like needs to mean penetration. Like, yeah, I think yours like just having like a feeling, you know, getting a feeling from someone. And in that way too, like, you know, sex or like sexuality like can be about a lot more than having sex. You know, it's about like the way that like someone makes you feel, the way that like you communicate with somebody. You know, having like being like in awe of somebody or just like having someone that just like makes you feel like this certain way. And that is something that I like crave actually, is like emotional intimacy, right? Like I don't necessarily want to have like something or someone inside me like at all, really. Like I don't have any desire for that.
I love it. I love
it. But I do want like emotional connection.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I feel like most people do. Most people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's like a lot of it. You know, like I said, we live in a very like hypersexualized world, but sex isn't everything. Yeah. And you know, for me, like I don't really like dating is weird, you know, because I don't really do it that much, but like I do like really want that connection with somebody, but I'm afraid that like, oh, like, you know, I'm not gonna want to have sex and that's gonna be weird like when we get to that point. So I don't really like know how to do it, you know.
Well, I know the big thing about it is this communication, like from the get-go, just be like, hey, this is where I am, this is what I like if even if you don't know, just be like, I don't know what I'm doing. If you can guide me, but just be straightforward about your needs or the needs that you don't even realize you need yet. But also realize that they may change over time. Like just be open to change. Yeah. So now that we know that virginity is basically kind of non-existent, basically, there's another concept of virginity where it's like we kind of talked about this just now, but like it being like taken away once you have sex with someone. Like virginity is something that can be taken away. But who can like I think for me, I'm thinking like, well, who's to say that your virginity is taken away ever? Like, why does it like when something is taken away from you, that means that you've lost something. But I think the way the context that it's being said in this regard is that it's like a bad thing when it's not. You're not. I mean, yeah, technically you're no longer. Oh, I hate it. Like just think about like, oh, you're not pure anymore, Aaron, all that stuff. But like, you're gaining something. You gain a lot if you have sex, especially if you have it the right way. So
yeah, I definitely don't think of it like in terms of losing something. It definitely makes more sense to say that you gain something, and like the whole idea of like losing your virginity is like very patriarchal. And it's just, you know, it's something to like make people feel ashamed for having sex. It's so weird because it's like having sex is a shameful thing, not having sex is shameful. It's just there
has to be a common denominator or like a factor in this. Like, what is it about sex that people are like upset about in both regards? Like, yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? I'm really like trying to figure that out now. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Like, why do we put? Maybe it's just because there's so many emotions that are usually attached to, like, a lot of emotions that can come up in terms of sex in the society that we live in right now because of, you know, how we have been indoctrinated, is that the right word, to think about it, that it's this extremely special thing that is done between two or more people, and you know, a lot of emotions can be involved. It's the way, at least, sex can, you can procreate through it if you have a, you know, penis vagina situation. But you know, it also just, it brings on a lot of emotions for a lot of people. It's a bond, it bonds you, it bonds people together. I don't, I always thought that that wasn't always the case, but it's definitely it's, I find it to be true. I feel like most people that have sex with each other are going to bond in some way, shape, or form. It may not be like super, like a lot, but I feel like there is at least some moment of connection. Oh, I hate thinking about, I'm thinking about it from a context of like non-consensual sex though. And in that regard, it's like, that's so violating. But we're not talking about that right now, but it was something that just trailed in my head just now. Sorry, I said a lot just now. I'll let you talk.
No, it's okay. I totally forgot what we were talking about. I did the like ADHD thing. Like,
No, it's okay.
So I completely have no idea what we're talking about now.
No,
So if you want to remind me.
Yeah. So we were basically just kind of talking about how sex is like why sex is like damn if you do, damn if you don't sort of situation where like you said, God, now I'm forgetting. You said something along the lines of like, you know, like you get
shamed for like having it. Yeah.
Have sex. So like, yeah.
And I think that also is like a lot, like it's like where, what stage you are in life too, you know, like younger people are shamed for having sex. Older people are shamed for not having sex. So that could be something. I don't know.
Wait, so older people are shamed for not having sex? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know if they are. I mean, like they're not necessarily, but like, you know, just the whole idea of like, you know, like 40-year-old virgin, like, or, you know, those sorts of things have like negative connotations. But then like, you know, teenagers or very young people having sex is like, you know, can be seen as like doing it too early or something. So I do think that like, you know, age might have something to do with it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's okay. So let's talk about your experiences. Even though like we'll do it by bases, you know, like first base, second base, third base. Obviously there's no fourth base. But for anyone that has not heard about the first base through fourth base situation, I'm gonna kind of give them the Urban Dictionary term for it. So the four bases in a relationship, like in baseball, where the partners try to get home.
Yeah, you hit that home run.
Yeah, home run. First base is equivalent to French kissing, not just kissing. If you don't know what French kissing is, it has more to do with like tongue.
A tongue. Yeah.
Tongue, yeah. So second base is touching of private extremities and or appendages of the partner's body, aka boob touch. But there's other things that you can touch that are private. And the third is oral sex. And then the home run is obviously, you know, having sex. So it's interesting to think about like oral sex in that way, because I wonder if there was another Urban Dictionary version of this, because something's telling me that there would be a lot more than just oral sex in the third base. But they said they called the home run big time sex. So like, what is big time sex?
Big time.
Oh
That means penis and vagina.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, what if you're like vagina on vagina? Then it's like
And doesn't count, you know.
Yeah. And then what do you call someone that like is intersex? Like, what is that? Anyway, there's a lot of questions that obviously we can't answer on this episode, but I would like to address them.
Well, me, the sex expert, can answer all your questions. So
Ayla, let's talk about your experience with first through third base, if that is even a thing. So let's start with first base. Have you done anything on first base before?
Yeah, so I've kissed people on the mouth. Okay. I feel like pretty ambivalent about it, you know, or like I've felt in the times that I've done it, I've felt pretty ambivalent about it. Like I'm just kind of like sitting there with like someone's like tongue inside of my mouth, just like trying to figure out like if I like this or like if I'm like, am I supposed to be enjoying this? Am I supposed to be liking this? I'm not really like,
you're not actually in the
super engaged. I'm just trying to be like, how do I feel about this? Yeah. You know? And like, honestly, I don't really feel anything, you know? So like, that's sort of confusing for me. I honestly feel like it's kind of, I don't think I've never put my tongue in someone's mouth. It's always their tongue in my mouth because I didn't like ask for that, you know, they're just kind of like, blah, blah, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess this is happening. But
I'm gonna, may I ask, or just like pause you for a second, because I'm curious, like, of the experience you've had on first base, were the people at this point, did you realize you were asexual in those instances?
Yeah, I mean, I've always got like sort of thought like I was kind of somewhere on that spectrum. I wasn't, you know, like the first times I've done those things, I wasn't really like, hadn't like decided that or anything. And I still haven't exactly, like it's fluid, you know, like sexuality is fluid. So, you know, my like how I define my sexuality right now might be different from like how I did then or how I might in the future. But yeah, like I don't think that I really, I didn't really know that I was. So I think that's why I was asking myself these things. I'm like, why aren't I enjoying this? Like, should I be enjoying this? Yeah. You know?
And even after like, let's say first base ends and do you like think about like what happened afterwards? And do you think about it in a way it's like do you even like give it a second thought?
Yeah, I thought about it.
And like, you know, it's like a couple of days have passed by and you like
yeah, I'm thinking about like a couple instances and it's like, yeah, like I thought about it, but what I think about is like the emotional connection that I had with the person and not really like kissing them. Like the thing that might make me feel sort of excited is that like, oh, we had this like nice conversation, but but yeah, like I'm not, but the like physical part of it like just confused me.
That's very interesting. I'm so happy you're on this episode because like otherwise I would have not known, because like I feel I'm like trying to figure out if I'm asexual through like if you like through your asexuality.
Oh, really?
Be learning some things.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or like,
well, like I said, like it's kind of a spectrum and people have like
sexual spectrum, yeah,
all sorts of like variations on like how like into sex they are, you know, and like not everybody might like identify themselves as asexual, but you might be like a person who like has sex, like kind of likes having sex, but like, you know, you're not like, I don't know, super into it, and that might be like what you experience, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. So in terms of sorry, we're like kind of going off the cuff or off the bat, off track, whatever. I have my outline so I can always go back to it, but I'm curious. Yeah. In terms of asexuality, do you find people attractive at all?
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure like what attractive mean, like attractive in in what way, because it's like I look at, like I might look at people and think, yeah, like I think like I might like look and like someone's physical appearance, or yeah, like think that they're attractive, or like, see a person like roller skating in the park and think like, oh, they like look like a person that I like wish I could be friends with or something.
Yeah.
But it's usually not like
oh my God.
Like I want to go down on them, Wow. Like it's not like that, or I don't.
You don't have feelings, like you don't have any feelings of like, oh my gosh, I've gotta get to like.
Yeah, or I might think like I might want to like, I don't know. Honestly, like I haven't really figured it out. Like, it's kind of because like, yeah, like might want to be like physically close to someone, like, but not like in a sexual way, or maybe in a sexual way. I don't know. And it's like, I might look at someone's face and be like, oh, like that's attractive. But then if they're like a like male person, like presenting, I'm like, oh, but they have a penis and that's gross. Like I'm like, just like, ew, like I'm like very turned off by like penises.
Yeah, they're the best. Yeah, they really look good.
They're really like awful. There's like big like thing. Like I honestly don't understand like why someone would like want to like have anything to do with one. That's just me.
Fair enough. I agree with you. Just the appeal, the look of a dick,
they're not hot.
No, but yeah, I don't know if I want to go into all that right now.
We don't have to talk about like how I'm just saying it.
I'm gonna be like, it's like, well, this is why I like them, but I'm not going to do all that.
I mean, no, it's totally valid to like them too. I mean,
I mean, it's not that they look appealing. Like, I hate when I get, like, I don't thankfully get them, but like most of the time, like when people send dick pics, I don't get the feel of it all the time. I've never done it.
No.
But I can see why someone would do it. Like they're trying to show that they are attracted to you in their own way, or like
in a very bizarre way. But yeah.
But anyway, let's get to second base. So second base is touching of private extremities and or appendages of the partner's body. So have you done any second base things?
So I've been like fingered, I guess, like, or like someone's fingers kind of in my vagina kind of thing.
So that, I feel like that's like,
is that sex?
That's closer.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like, I mean,
foreplay.
I guess that's like foreplay. Only like maybe like once or twice. And like I said, like I was experimenting. I didn't really know if I was trying to figure out if I liked that sort of thing. I honestly, like, I mean, this might be part of the reason why, like, I don't have much like interest in sex, but like, it was painful, like it hurt. And, so I was like it wasn't enjoyable, and I was just like, and again, like the same thing with like kissing. I was like, am I like, should I be enjoying this? Should I be like orgasming or something? And
there should definitely be, at least in those moments where like you're starting to get touched that way, like you should definitely feel emotionally connected to that person in some sort of way.
Yeah. And
if it's not happening, then
so it's like I tried it, I was like, I let them do it, because I like wanted to do it. Yeah. And then I'm just like, okay, well, I don't really feel, but yeah, like I mean, I can't really put like, this might be like TMI, but like, I can't really like put anything like in my vagina, like I can't like use a tampon. I can't like, it's like painful. It's just like a lot of like, I think it's called vaginismus.
Yeah. No,
it's,
you're right.
I just experience a lot of pain with like anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a finger or like something small, like whatever.
Well, normally in the instances, I mean, this is not TMI, this is like just facts, but like normally if you're like completely aroused with someone and you're like, getting, foreplayed and all that, normally your vagina will open up. Like,
right. And mine is just kind of like always like the muscles are always very tense or like closed up, you know?
Do you find that it's always closed up on like just like even like right now, or is it just like when something's about to enter and it's like no?
Yeah, I mean it's always kind of like tighter, I guess. But then if it's like something like if I'm trying, like I used to do like vagina therapy where I would like, you know, they would where you go to someone, it's like kind of like like, you know, it's physical therapy for your vagina, basically.
Whoa, I didn't know that existed.
Really? Yeah, it's a thing.
That was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's like you go to someone and you like basically work on like relaxing those muscles. And so I like used like a dilator, you know, like to sort of, you know, practice like inserting something in there and like, you know, try to relax the muscles a little bit. Yeah.
And how long does it last?
Well, like I was really like bad. I like never did my homework, you know, because it was using it's like therapy homework. Well, yeah, which is just like, you know, using a dilator. But I yeah, I don't really go anymore because I honestly like didn't really see a lot of reason to do it, because it's like more like if you like really wanted to have sex and you were like experiencing a lot of pain, then like, you know, you might do that so that like you don't experience pain when you try to have sex. But like I'm, you know, kind of confused. It's like, do I not want to have sex because of the pain, or like do I just not want to have sex? Right. You know, and I still don't have like any like strong desire to. And also it's just like, you know, I started doing like continuous birth control so I don't like get my like period really. So it's like I don't have to use a tampon. So it's like there's not have birth control. I do. So I do use birth control for like that. And also because I used to have like really painful periods, like vomiting and getting chills and stuff. And when I started birth control,
which one are you on? Like what kind of
like the pill?
Oh, the pill.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. I forget that people use birth control for that reason.
Yeah, no, there's like all sorts of reasons. It's not just birth control. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the fingering makes me feel like it was like that's like
that might have been like that's what makes me think like, am I really a virgin? You know?
Oh, I mean,
right. Because it's like that's why we're talking about like how do you define it, you know? Right. Like does it mean that there has to be something like inside of you?
Also, you know, another thing about virginity is like, did you enjoy it? Like if you didn't enjoy it, should you really count that as like your virginity being taken or whatever? You know? I thought about that.
Right.
So like if you were being fingered and you didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it. So I don't really think of it as like anything. I think of it more as like trying a thing and not liking it, you know, not as like, you know, losing my virginity.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's what our definition is going to be. You're still a virgin, Ayla, for sure. All right, so let's kind of just talk about like randomly, not randomly because I wrote it, but like if whenever you do reach fourth base, even though you have like really no understanding of like what could potentially happen, how would you imagine it playing out?
And so like by fourth base, what do you mean? Like, because obviously like if it was with like someone with a penis, it would be different than like someone without a penis, you know?
About how you want to feel for fourth base.
Right. Well, like what? like what do you mean exactly?
So, like, would there be a specific feeling you would like to have with someone else to solidify, oh, I'm no longer a virgin. Let's say that you didn't even have sex. Let's just say you want a specific conversation or like a certain like something that happens maybe during like maybe a more physical, yeah, a more physical interaction with someone. Doesn't have to be sex. Let's just take fourth base out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Would you like to feel with someone emotionally?
yeah, I mean, if we go back to like defining sex as not like a physical act, but like as an emotional
Yeah.
act or feeling or whatever, then yeah, I mean, I do like want I do want to experience like strong connection with someone, or the feeling of like someone like knowing you really well, and um liking all the parts of you, and like you liking all the parts of them, and someone who just kind of like gets your like unique struggles, and you can just kind of support each other in this really intense and like beautiful way, I guess, and I
That makes so much sense. You're not saying anything that's
and
like
like
crazy or anything. Like,
yeah, no,
oh,
I mean
money.
that's what sex is to me, I guess.
Yeah.
um or what it would be for me.
And you're absolutely no, like I think I don't know where I heard this before, but sex starts like the act of sex starts way before you even it starts way before you get into the bedroom. And
Right.
everything that you are describing is like the essential tools to basically for someone that enjoys sex for them to enjoy it and like really have a fulfilling time. So the fact that you need all of these principles before you even get there, like that, I find that to be beautiful. I find that to be healthy, and honestly it's saving you from like probably a lot of heartbreak, honestly, because a lot of people that aren't asexual can't that line gets confused a lot quicker, and they feelings come before they are emotionally connected, and then like when emotions are there they're already physically connected, so like it's just a lot of like gray area. So yeah. I think everything that you just said is that is sex. You're right. Sex can
Yeah,
totally be
it's
that.
eye contact, like I love like a good like sustained eye contact, like that's, I feel like that for me could be just as like exciting as like an orgasm or something, but like just looking at someone's eyes and just being like, yeah, like we like I like see you, I understand you, um I know you,
Yeah.
you know
Um. So you know what? Hold on. Let me see. There was I think one of our anonymous people had something to say about that. I just want to make sure I am naming what they said. Let me just make sure it's. Ooh. Okay, no, that. Ooh. Okay, never mind. No, it's the next one. Never mind.
I want to hear what the other people had to say.
Okay, so the first thing that this person said, in regard, well, let me see. There was like I was trying to find like the decent ones because a lot of things that you said is what they said too. Um, but let's see their experience with bases. This is one of I can mention that they're a millennial and they're a heterosexual woman. That they said that they have very little experience with first base, none with the others. They've only French kissed one person, and it was on a date that didn't go well. Uh, they kissed a couple of other people, but it doesn't count because it was like through work thing for like, film and TV stuff that they had to do. Um, and then they said in their mind, the other basis will happen organically with someone that they want to share those experiences with. They like to think that these experiences will go smoothly and that their partner and her will have a good time. But that's not necessarily real life, and it's not fair to put any kind of pressure on that, and that there's no one in particular that they want to lose it to right now, and it'll happen when it happens. So they're kind of like, very much, okay, yeah, this is a thing right now, and I haven't had much experiences, but it'll happen when it happens. And I like that. They've acknowledged it, and they know that there's just so many other things that they could be doing right now than like worrying about whether or not their virginity is about to end or be taken or whatever that is. So, but I do want to get to what they said for this next question, which is what I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to go back to what they said. So let me see if I can go back. The next question is, oh wait, this is the one that hold on. This is definitely the one that you didn't want to, or you didn't have an answer to, but they did. So this next question, I'm not going to ask Ayla, but I did ask some of my other virgin friends, and I had a great response to one of my friends. So I wanted to kind of go into it. I asked, oh shoot, I just lost it. Where is it? Oh, that's what it is. I basically just kind of asked, like you're a virgin, so how do you like masturbate? How do you get off? What do you think about when you are, like when you're pleasuring yourself? And one of the responses I got was, they said, oh, I love how she said that. She said, I feel like this is the most important question because society just assumes that virgins never have orgasms, which is so. I don't think that, but maybe society feels that way. Which I am a part of society, but anyway, she said, I didn't have my first orgasm until around the time I turned 28. I'm not really sure why, because I remember buying myself a vibrator months ago or months before that. I think I was a bit worried that I wouldn't be able to give myself one, but luckily those worries were unfounded. Over the past few months, I've come up with a routine that really works for me. I listen to erotic audios created by male voice actors while I use my vibrator on myself. I don't have the most creative imagination, so having someone else talk me through it really helps me get off. And I was like, wow, that's a really great way of doing it. Like it's someone coaching you as to like what you should be doing. And it's like low pressure. It's not actual person that's like with you in the moment, obviously like physically, but like there's still like a male voice. This person is heterosexual, by the way, I should have mentioned that, or straight. But yeah, that's kind of how they get themselves off. And I found that to be really awesome. What are your thoughts, Ayla?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. And I haven't exactly like figured that out for myself, so I think that's really cool that this person has. And it's like, I think that I have, it's like, there was like, I think there was like a time, there's been like a few times when I have been able to orgasm, but I have to be in this like very specific headspace. And it's like not something that I can like do just anytime, so I haven't really figured out like what works for me, or like just anytime I want. And I don't like think about it that much, like I don't think, oh, like I really want to like, I mean, I've experienced like what I think is that, and it was like, cool. Yeah. It's like, cool, orgasm.
What is it? So what, I know you say you think, but like, I'm curious to like hear, like if you can give a description, only because I want to like see if that's close to what it may be. Because I know my own experiences.
Like I said, like I can't do it all the time. It's like, yeah, I don't really know like how to describe it. It's sort of like a, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like a.
Does it feel like there's like something that is coming over you that you can't control necessarily? Or like do you feel at the end or afterwards that like you're not heated, but like you get a little sleepy or
I think I get like a little sweaty. Like
yeah.
I get sweaty, and it's kind of like an excited feeling, like yeah, like excited isn't the right word, but it's honestly, like, I can't really figure out words that
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you have at least an under like you it's starting to make
yeah, it's like wiggly.
wiggly decent wiggly, like does it feel like there's like a
Yeah.
sensation?
Yeah, it's like sort of a tingling. So like what I'll do is like I'll sort of like, like rub my clit a little bit, right? I don't like do any like penetration thing because like I've said that's painful, but like
you don't
and so I'll do that, and then I'll sort of like get a sort of like little like tingling there, and then it'll just like go up through like the rest of my body, and so I think that's it, but it's just like I can't do it like just whenever,
Yeah, no, that's totally it. It's an orgasm. You got that. And yeah, people, honestly, most vagina owners cannot orgasm through penetration alone.
Yeah, no, I don't think they do. Yeah,
Of some sort. And also for me in particular, it's very mental. For me, it
is
to be stimulated in different ways. Like, yeah, penetration can be part of it, but I have to either be like stimulated mentally. Like I've noticed like people have to be like right up on me, sometimes like whispering in my ear and telling me like things, and like I have to have different sensations going on in order for me to get there. And it's not just one thing. That's just random, but has there been anyone that you felt like you could lose your virginity to, or that you would like, that you felt like you could lose it to if you were in the right space, the right time, right moment? You don't have to
okay. Well, since like no, there's not like really a specific person. Yeah, I mean, if we're like changing, if the definition, if the way that we're defining sex, like in this episode, is not like, like we've talked about physical, but like more emotional, then like, yes, there are people that like I wanted to have sex with, if that's like how we're defining it, but not like have sex in terms of like, penetration, penis and vagina, because that doesn't really appeal to me.
Right. Okay. That's
so
great. Yeah. So before we close out, just curious, because we've been talking about it this whole time, obviously, but like what are your immediate reactions when you hear the phrase like 30-year-old virgin? Like just off the cuff, like what's the first thing that you think of?
Yeah, it doesn't really mean much. It's like it's like like I said, like, when someone says 30-year-old virgin or 40-year-old virgin, that's like usually, I guess, a negative connotation, but it doesn't have to be. And it's like, it only means anything because like in our culture, we just like talk about sex so much, and we think about sex so much, and it's like such a big part of like most people's lives. So like I feel like that's the only reason that we would even like say 30-year-old virgin.
Right. The way, you're right. The connotation of it all, it's just like, can't you just say, I don't know.
Because like I'm not sure why it matters that someone is like a 30-year-old virgin.
Right.
Like to me, it doesn't really mean anything. Like it doesn't matter. And like I said, like we're not really defined by like sex or our sexual lives, because not everybody like wants to do that or is into that sort of thing. And like I said, like sex isn't life. It's not everything. So like, I feel like we don't need to talk about
that. Is a perfect t-shirt. Sex is especially for okay, Ayla, we got to get you a t-shirt with that thing.
Okay.
So I guess the only last question I have, like, and I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway because I have it on my outline. But do you think you're going to end up being a person 30 years or older that has never had sex before? And if you do you care that may happen?
Okay. So like what I would have said when you sent me that outline is like, no, I mean, yeah, I probably will be, and no, I don't really care. Yeah. But you know, like I've said, I do want emotional intimacy or like and I like, you know, like some of the people that you quoted just now, like I haven't been in like a long-term relationship, but I'm not really sure, like, you know, relationships are to me are kind of weird and possessive. And like if I was like in a relationship, it would probably be more like polyamorous or something. Just because I personally like don't really understand like the difference between like a friend and like a person you're in a romantic relationship with. Like if you take like the sex aspect out of it, if you take the physicality out of it, like what's the difference? And that's something I've asked myself and that I can't really answer. You can't you know. Yeah, like I can't really separate because I want all my friendships to be like as deep as I would want like a romantic partner to be, you know.
No.
And it's like, yeah, I want that. And if like I think about that way, then no, I don't want to be a 30-year-old person. I hope that when I'm 30, I'll have had like connections with people, which is something that I'm sort of like lacking like right now in my life. You know.
So basically right now, your version of like being you want emotional connection, whether or not you're a virgin or not. The thing is you want the most right now is an emotional connection. You could care less if you're a virgin
right.
You're 50, 60 years old. But if you have that emotional connection, you good. Yeah. I absolutely love that. I really do. I love it. I've got to do another episode with you, like just on like asexuality, because I feel like this would have.
Well, that's kind of what I mostly talked about, like in this episode, because it's like, you know, like virginity isn't the same thing, obviously, as asexuality. Like, there's a lot of virgins who like aren't asexual, or like asexual people who aren't virgins, you know. So it's like definitely not the same thing. But for me, it's like there's a lot of like overlap.
Maybe I should retitle this episode. Maybe I should retire. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel better just because like this is so important. I'm so thankful to have you on this episode. Like it's in terms of like what's I'm going on like in my own life right now, like hearing what you're saying, it helps resonate with me and like what, you know, like just certain loopholes that I'm still trying to figure out, and like in terms of like sexuality and like understanding what other people's like what they define as like certain types of relationships, you know, like I'm still like I realize everyone has different versions of it and sometimes they're not communicated as effectively. So yeah, I'm really thankful to have you on. You were amazing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun to talk with you.
Yeah, no problem. So if you want, you can give them your socials. If not, that's completely fine too.
Oh yeah. Like just like say them like like
want, if you, I mean, like just say it and I'll just
you can follow me on Instagram at Ayla Mill. Maybe someday I'll like post cool stuff on there, like when I have my shit together, you know. So just like in preparation.
Definitely follow Ayla, because obviously,
in preparation for that, definitely follow me because I might start, maybe I'll like be creative again.
yeah.
So,
But I also think there's
yeah,
definitely
follow
people
me.
out there. There's definitely other people out there that are looking for like just an emotional connection before they even think about or even like want to do anything physical. And so like knowing that there's like a community out there for you. I hope that they're listening to this. I'll definitely make sure to just try to.
Yeah, if you want to be my friend, hit me up.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like sometimes with this show, like I'm like almost like a small little matchmaking service, because some people like come on and I'm just like, man, like this person, like it's so awesome. Like I hope that other people at least like follow the people that I'm listening to, or sorry, not follow the people, but yeah, like follow my guests because like they're obviously awesome people. That's why I asked them to be on the show. All right, y'all. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out my Patreon where you'll find more content just like this. Have bonus content. Eventually, we'll have merch given to a lot of my long-standing patrons. And I think that's about it at the current moment. No, it's not. I want to let y'all know that at least with this Patreon, like it's the reason why I'm able to continue bringing this content to you. It's very important to me that these conversations are had, and it's because of y'all that I can still continue to have them and that y'all are still able to enjoy them. So if you want to become a part of this community, please join my Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/the-self-aware millennial. Thank you again, Ayla, for being a part of this beautiful conversation. And I will see y'all next time. Bye. Wax on, wax off.